Today's sermon, When the System Breaks Down, coming from the scripture of Isaiah chapter 1, verse 23. And it reads, Your rulers are rebels, partners with these. They all love bribes and chase after gifts. They do not defend the cause of the fatherless. The widow's case does not come before them. Let me tell y'all a quick story. There was a young man in the city who got pulled over late one night. He hadn't done anything wrong, just driving home from work. The cop gave him a hard time, searched his car for no reason, and then told him to watch himself. When he had got home, he said, Man, the system is broken. And that phrase right there, the system is broken, that could have been shouted from the streets of Jerusalem in Isaiah days, because God's people were living under a system that had gone corrupt from the top down. Today I got 4 points I'd like to share with you. My first point is the problem when power gets corrupted. Isaiah says, Your rulers are rebels, partners with thieves. That's a heavy line. God is basically saying the people who are supposed to protect justice are now protecting themselves. See, leadership without integrity always leads to oppression. When leaders become partners with thieves, they stop serving the people and start serving their own pockets. Sound familiar? From politicians to preachers, from corporations to city councils. Whenever the people in power forget the people they serve, injustice run wild. And here's the truth. You don't have to be in office to act like a ruler. Some of us are rulers in our own homes, our office, our influence online, and God is asking, are you leading with justice or just leading for yourself? My second point is the price, the forgotten people. Isaiah continues, they do not defend the cause of the fatherless. The widow's case does not come before them. In other words, the most vulnerable, the ones who can't fight for themselves, were being ignored. And that's the ultimate sign of society's sickness, when those who need help the most get the least attention. Let's be real. We see it every day. Single moms struggling to make ends meet. Kids getting lost in the system. Elderly folks forgotten in the neighborhood. And the church sometimes too busy building stages instead of building communities. But God's heart beats for the broken. He's not impressed how loud our praise is if we're silent when injustice happens next door. My third point, the promise. God still sees. Here's the good news, because there's always good news. God doesn't just call out corruption, He calls forth correction. If you keep reading, in verse 26, God says, I will restore your judges as in the days of the old. Afterward, you will be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. That's hope right there. God says, I can rebuild what you broke. I can restore justice. I can renew leadership with integrity. So even when the system breaks down, our faith reminds us that God is still the ultimate judge. And He's raising up a new kind of leadership, not built on greed, but on grace. Not built on power, but on purpose. Not built on taking, but on serving. My fourth and final point is the challenge. Be the difference. Family, we can't just talk about the system being broken. We've got to be a part of God's rebuilding crew. Be the kind of person who stands up for the voiceless. Be the coworker who does right when nobody's watching. Be the believer who lives justice, not just preaches it. Because God isn't looking for perfect people. He's looking for principled people. And when we walk in righteousness, we become light in a world full of shadows. My closing thought, if Isaiah were preaching today, he might say it like this. God's tired of leaders who love power more than people, but He's raising up a generation who loves people more than power. Let's be that generation. And to the next sermon, blessings, fam.